Well, that's kind of like a flat fourth, because that's the fifth, that's the fourth, that's the third. So it's either a sharp third or a flat fourth. I'm not so sure, but this note now, a flat interval. So that's the one that needs to be corrected now. So what we're going to do, leave these notes, we'll leave these mutes in, and we'll deaden off the left side of that unison and play the center note. And what's it saying on the tuner? Yeah, it's saying that the C sharp here is too sharp. Probably by a good 3-4 cents. So, I'll find that note. Try to ease her flat. Right in here. I'm going to go sideways, and what I'm going to do is nope, that won't work, so and we've got her flat. Try to set the pin. Playing around with the pin. So it's beating about this fast. A little slower. And slowest. The fifth is the slowest. The fourth, a little faster, a little wider. I can hear that. So that's working out good because, yeah, as you go farther apart with the intervals, it seems that the beats slow down. The closer together the intervals are, the wider it sounds, or the faster the beats. I think that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but yeah, just trying to show you how I figured it out. And now, so we've got the A, we're in A, like here's the A, here's the fifth of the A. There's the fourth. And that's the seventh, right? So, fourth, seventh, alternating the fifth and fourth. Octave, and then that flat fourth or sharp third. I don't know how that really goes. We'll figure it out. You'll see. So now we got that one sounding pretty good, right along with the fifth and the fourth. So now I've got to take this mute out and continue by fixing this one. In fact, I'm going to put the mute back in this side just so I can hear just these two strings in the unison, the center one and the far and the one on the right. And it's the one on the right I'm trying to fix. And the tuner over here is saying that it's leaning slightly to the high side, so it's got to be lowered. So I'll just try the ordinary way of easing her down. And by doing that, I'm setting the pin. And it's just almost there. Perfect, almost. Here, just a sec. So all I'm doing is setting the pin. And the meter is saying it's a lot closer. So, hit it kind of hard. It's not changing much really, so good. We're on to the next one. See, those little things are sounding good in there, right? They're kind of like little thirds that are going along with the main note, which is the A, or the main key. Say we're in the key of A, right? It'd be A fifth, that'd be A fourth, this would be A flat fourth, or sharp third. I think that's what you call it anyway. So, we've got that, right? Now I got to get these mutes out of here. So I'd say that's good. Let's pull the mute out, see how it sounds. Hitting it fairly firmly. It's something still slightly sharp. So I'll just hold the key down to open up the damper. I'll hit it with my fingernail. Watch the meter. That's hanging around pretty good in the center. So center one now of the unison. Okay, and now I'll do the center string of the unison, and that one seems to be faltering a bit on the low side, so just hear that again. Yeah, just ever so slightly, eh? So, I mean, with both strings, with all strings ringing, I could probably fake it, but I don't want to fake it here anymore, so here. Faltering. And that is slightly better. Sounding good, so I'll just sounding good, so I'll pull that mute out. Just sounds like there's kind of a slight waver going on in there. I wouldn't get too worried about that part, but we're trying to just take our time here. Reminds me of that Admiral Halsey song. Admiral Halsey. And it's not perfect. In fact, this is the one I hate the most. So I'm just going to block this one up so that we don't miss it. And we're still back on this one now. Trying to figure this out from the G and the A. Right? Because in the A it's the 4th, in the G it's the 5th. And we're on A's now because we've done F, G, and now we want to do A. And I could say that's where the problem is in here. Yeah, something's wavering around in there again. So let's get that mute in and figure out if it's the center one. Might just be. It's by the way it seems to want to slightly waver around in there. I'm going to try by setting the pin somehow just in the right place. And because it was wavering high, I'm going to try and waver it low. I'm pulling this way on it because I'm still not letting it go to the left too much. You know what I mean? That sounds like I've set it better than what it was. Setting the pin. Now we've got a purer note, right? Take that damper out, or mute out. Still holding its own pretty good. Take the other one out. And mute that left side of the unison, and let's hear the right side and the center now. So the right side needs to be set. It seems to me that's what you do. You set the pin now. Seems to want to go slightly to the high side, but then it doesn't know what it's doing. And it comes back down after a bit. So again, I'm going to pull it back just slightly this way. I'm thinking about the string now, right? Because when you pull it over this way on the string, you're loosening the non-speaking side. But by pulling it this way, I'm still allowing that non-speaking side to stay tight. I'm trying to anyway. And it still wants to waver a bit, but wants to play games with me, this one. And that's pretty darn good. And now I'll just play that A chord with the 5th and the 4th and the sharp 3rd or the flat 4th, and see how it sounds. And I will let the chord ring a bit. This gives me an idea of how good things are, right? Remember when I said still, I'm not listening for beats. Well, I don't want to hear beats now, so. Sounded pretty darn good. There is a little bit of a drifting going on in there, but hey, that's pretty darn good. And now, of course, you know, this is the 5th of the A, the 4th of the A, etc., the flat 4th of the A. Well, let's just try and make say a chord off the 5th of the A, which is the E, and do a 5th of the E and a 4th of the E. So a 5th of the E is a B, 4th of the E is an A. Just by hearing it. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's jumping around, so I know there's something wrong with this one. So that's what I'm going to do next now, you see. We're going to go A, and the 5th off the A, right? Oh, how about the 5th off the E? At the same time we're playing the A and the E. How maybe that should be done too, right? Because all these chords actually interlock together. We just know that there's something too high on this one, okay? Just by the way this is sounding. But that this one here, there's hardly any wavering or movement going on there or beating, right? Here we hear a like that. You don't hear it unless you play this though. So that's why I insist on interlocking all of these chords as we go up. Right? Etc. And I have found here now in the D. Okay, we got the 5th, the 4th. Okay, wait. Okay, and here we've got the chord in the D chord. We have the 5th, the 4th, and the flat 4th. And that's pretty, you know, pretty beatless. That's a little faster. And this one doesn't know what it's doing yet, but this needs to be just a slight bit faster than this one. And this is going na 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 na. So this should be going a little faster. See what I mean? And a little bit faster. So that's what we're listening for. And I'm leaving this muted on the left side for now. But I shouldn't. I should take this out now. Because I've got it right. So play the whole thing open now, that whole unison. The unison of the strings creating the note. Over here, that's called a bichord because there's two notes to that chord. This is a unison because there's a united three strings. They're not three, they're two strings, but it looks like three. Anyway, let's not get too complicated here. We've got that sounding pretty good, so I'm not too worried about the muting of that anymore. So anyway, like I was saying, the fifth of the D, the fourth of the D, sounded pretty good, a little fast, maybe a little too fast on that. So anyway, we'll work on this G a little bit here and get this a little nicer. The G note being the fourth interval of the D chord, I guess that's how it works. I'm not trying to teach you music here. If anything, rhythm. That's going too slow, so the beating has to speed up. But number one, let's now look at our tuner. And see what it's telling us here about this G, the G now, which is the fourth interval of the D chord. It's leaning slightly to the high side. So we are on that note now with the So now I'm on the G note, and I am going to basically try to ease this down. It's already over to the left, meaning I should take it over again to the right slightly, and pull up as I'm loosening that string. Felt that move slightly. Try to set the pin in there. Okay, well, I've taken it too low now. I went up over and tried to seat it. I can just hear that's right. It helps if you play sometimes both notes. See, that's slowed it down. It's still now. It's still got a little bit of action going on there, wavering around, but like I say, pretty darn close. Okay, fifth sounds good. Fourth is dead on perfect, sounds good. Now the flat fourth. So we'll be working on that next. So we got the fourth good. Now we'll take one of the mutes out and clean up this fourth on the unison left side. Left side of the unison. I mean, this one's just got me. I can't remember. I'm talking too much, so it's distracting me from doing my job. Yeah, this wants to waver around a bit, so I'm going to try to seat this string, this pin. A lot less wavering now. So that one's good. And now the middle one's kind of arguing a bit. Sounding better. Careful. Damn, that's close. So we'll get the right side of the unison one more time. See, when I'm looking at the string and these strings are sloping this way, that means if I'm anywhere on the right side of that line, that even though I'm pushing up and loosening that string, the reason why I'm doing it is because this way I'm still pushing up on the string as I'm loosening it. As soon as I go to this side of that line and I push up and slightly tweak it to the left, but pushing up, it does a different thing. It loosens the non-speaking length of that string. And really, I'm just going to go test a few. Sounds pretty close. That sounds wrong. So yeah. Too high. Something wrong with that. Anyway, now we're in A. Now we're in E. And a fifth and a fourth in E, right? Fifth, fourth. Fifth, fourth. Okay, so we know right now that there's going to be a problem until we fix this, which is the fifth of the A, which we're in now. Right? And the fifth of the A, or the fifth of the A is the E, and the fifth of the E is the B. So listen to this. That's the fifth. And that's the fourth. So what I've found now is that, okay, we're in A. I'm using the fifth of the A. Okay. So what I found now is we're in A. I'm using the fifth of the A, which is the E note. And now with that E note, playing at the same time as the A note, I'm going to play the fifth of the E note, which is the B note, because we got to get the B note tuned. So that we can then tune our D sharp and our F sharp to go along with the B chord. But we can't do that until we get this sounding right, which is which sounds right. And now we have to extend this contiguous chord, or continuous chord, whatever you want to call it. And listen what's going on here. Throw the E in up here too. So remember the octave thing. Here's the octave, here's the octave, here's the fifth. And on that fifth, we're now going to go octave on a fifth, an octave for the fifth. So we've got... Sounds good. Very little movement. Very little beating. So what we have to do is play now. Okay, how'd that go? Okay, we got that. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch now into the E, or listen to the E mostly, and play the fifth of that E, which is the B. You know, I'm using this fifth of the E note as my new octave rider, I call it. And we know that's wrong. That's wrong. They're all a little high, so anyway. This has got a little movement going on, so I'm going to try and fix this. First of all, I gotta fix this note. See, now the fifth of the E note, which I'm trying to get up here, I now have a good sounding fifth down here that I can compare that to. So we're gonna do the 2 octaves of the E. 3 actually, and then we're going to throw 2 fifths in there of the E, which is the B note, which will throw 2 notes of the B in, 2 B notes. And we're going to listen to this note. And we're going to look at the tuner. And the tuner says it's too high. Just show you that real quick so you know. Show you that real quick so you know. Oh, okay, quiet. Let it settle. The B is too high. So we'll get over here now with our mutes, and we'll mute this B note. And play just the center of the unison, and it's reading way too high, so we got to lower that. We got a pretty close to perfect note. Take the and okay, we got that one, right? And okay, we got that one, right? Pretty close. This needs voicing and everything, this piano. It sounds tinny because the hammers need to be replaced on some of them. In fact, probably end up going to do it all once we've, you know, done everything else. So anyway, we'll take the mute out of this B note now and play the left side of the unison with the center. And we've lowered the center, and the outside right or left one now is too high. Now we pull it down. Just trying to seat the pin, right? Dropping it down to seat the pin. Up again, bring it back, bring the handle back to the right side slightly of the center of that line of string, and we're going to push up while we're loosening. Let go. Now it's dropped. Now I'm going to bring it up. And just let it rest. Wait a sec. It's close, so I'll let that go. Take the mute out, unmute the right side of the unison, and hear this. It was a little less high, but nevertheless. Drop that down now. Ease her down. Have a pretty close to perfect note. Now I'll pull that mute out of the left side, play the note. Sounds pretty pure, right on. Okay, quickly here. Got our E note going, got our fifth going, got it tuned. Close. Got it tuned anyway. And now we're going to go back to the G because I want to hear how this B note, which is the fifth of the E chord, is going to sound when I change the root note of the chord to an F. So there's the root note E, here's the root note F. Right? Being the B. So now we're going to play the G chord, actually. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere, right? Because we're going up and down. Mainly we're trying to tune from the bottom and work our way up. But as you can see, sometimes I have to go back and fix my stuff. That'll all come in practice. I'll get better over the years. So yeah. Let's see now. Okay, G. That's pretty close. But anyway, we were in A. Playing the E, which was the fifth of the A, remember, and the fourth of the A was the D. But we still have a mute going on over here with this E note, because I haven't done the D sharp, even though it's muting that side of it. You got to remember where you're at, because you might look at these mutes and go, "Oh, I'm over here," and I'm, no, wait a sec. Where were you? Did you start on F like I did, and then go F, G, and A? That's what I've done. So in A now, we're talking the 5th. And we have one more note to fix. So I'll pull the note, I'll pull the mute out. I'm going to mute the other side of it just for now, the unison. And just look at that on the tuner. And it's saying it's a little high. So that means the side I just unmuted is high. And I'm going to give that a bit of a drop. Set the pin. Trying to. Oh, I'm just getting excited. So on this one now, we try something different with the handle. It's resting slightly sharp. And I'm going to try pulling it down slightly. I think, wait. While I'm loosening it. Still ain't getting it. Okay, go this way. So by pulling the pin down slightly, by being slightly to the left of the line of them strings with the handle, I'm pulling it down as I'm loosing it. Now when I let it go, not quite. Basically, I want to hear no beat. Sounding pretty good. We'll let that go for now. Pull that tuner, or pull that, and pull the mute out. So Now we've got our E note proper. So now, octaves should have no beats when I think about it. An octave should sound pretty pure, right? And this one's slightly sharp, this E, so we have to fix this. I'll use my fingernail to figure out which note it is, or if it's all of them, or... Okay, quiet. That's high on the meter. That's almost perfect on the meter. And the right side of it is almost perfect. How about the center one again? Just a minute. Just so slightly high. So I'm doing this without a mute. I'm gonna just hit it with my fingernail. I'm watching the tuning meter. That's closer. So now we know that the right side of this unison and the center of the unison, oh wait, the right side, it's leaning slightly high. And the left side was quite high. So I'll hit this now with the key. And I'll listen and try and just get this to sound pretty close. I think you get it. See what I mean? I'm just sort of building as I go up, building the chords so they sound good all the way up. So anyway, now I'll fix this higher E note up here. I'm setting the pin. It's giving it a little bit more stability, right? Right. Okay, so now I'll pull the mute out of the right side of this unison, put it in the left side, because I know sometimes things slip when you're doing this. The two outside unison strings can slip, because it's actually not two strings, it's one string, and it sometimes slips at the bottom or up at the top here, depending on what's going on. And this one's slightly off, so that means I'm on the right side now. I'm on the pin of the right side of this unison. It seems to want to be a little high, so I'm going to try and lower this note. I'll put the hammer just to the left side of the line of the string, so that when I'm pulling down and loosening it, that it will go back up when I let go. It's called easing the string down. I'll let it come back up. See what happens? Pretty close, not quite, just a sec. And now I will seat the pin by putting the handle on the right side of the line of the string while I'm tightening. Trying to get her to stay pretty close and sound. It has to sound beatless too, right? Here we go. Pretty close to beatless, right on. I'll pull that mute out of the left side now, and here we go. Pulling the mute from the left side, now we'll hear the whole 3 strings. Whole unison. And look at that, guys. Staying on the center pretty good. Good. Okay, so the next note I'm going to fix. We're still in A, remember? We're just fixing, sort of fine-tuning a bit as we go up, but we started in F, then went to G, now we're still in A, but in A we got our E and our D sounding pretty good, which were the fifths from the A, and now we've gone into the fifth of the A, which was the E, and done the fifth from that, which was the B, and then the fourth was the A, and then the other one. It's getting confusing. So I'm now finding I've got this muted, and this is the center string only. Let's just watch this meter for a minute. It's coming out flat, so I am going to put the hammer to the right side of this and bring it up slightly and bring it up slightly. To the left side of it now, see what happens. Okay. Now we're high again, to the high side. Try to set the pin back down into it. A couple of little tugs. Trying to settle it back, let it set for a sec. Watching the meter, right? It's pretty good. It's settling down in the center pretty good. So I'll take this mute out now. And see what happens if I just push up on this slightly. What's going to happen to the string that is now not sounding right with the center one? Okay, I pushed it up slightly. and it's still falling short of the true pitch, so that's probably good, because first of all we have to go back now down to the other octaves, bring our A octaves up, and actually let all these octaves ring while I'm tuning, because now we're up in the higher register where things are going to have to be tuned slightly flat, and I need to hear my octaves coming up, and they should be pretty pure and still there, not very much movement. Here, there's something wrong with this one. I think we better put that mute back in. Hit the octaves. Seems to be hitting slightly sharp when I hear that one. We've got to play them all together again. And we're bringing it down slightly flat of true pitch. See? It sounds flat, but yet it sounds good with the other lower octaves. It's okay to take it flat up here. See? It sounds better already, right in there. Could even take it down a little lower. Gotta do this part by ear. My meter does not show a true reading on this, kind of a slight adjustment. Only your ear can hear it. You have to hear it, the whole chord. And you hear that one's obviously way off. It's nice and bright and high, and it's wrong. So, here. That's just so slightly high. I'm going to fix it. Remember, these are real short strings up here too, so all you got to do is tap this thing quite often. But there, yeah, that's it. To me, that sounds right. Sounds flat by itself. Sounds flat of true sharp, like. See what I mean? You only play one of these octaves down here, or one of these A notes. This one. And it doesn't sound right up here. But if you play the whole octaves, all the octaves, that's what I'm talking about. It sounds like it's settling into the chord better. Less movement. It's stiller. There's less beating. And I like it right there. So careful, careful. Now we will proceed to do the other one. The other parts of the unison. Play the whole chord. The fifth in here might sound a whole lot better too, actually, right at this point, because we're really getting close. Wait a sec, one more time. wanted to be just slightly higher. And that's what it's supposed to sound like. Now we'll take this other mute out now. We'll put this mute back in the left side. We'll get this right. Be careful when you're pulling this off. And okay. This is reading high, too sharp. So we're dropping her down. All it takes up here is slight anything, and stuff happens. So play the whole chord again with the fifth. See? This is flattened now, so that the whole thing sounds right. We'll take the mute out. How does it sound? Sounds a little sharp, but I think we'll just leave that for now. That's the demonstration on what has to happen up at the top here.